Right, let's start with the Euros. So, Jay, obviously, I know you're mad excited. Beth, how are you feeling about a home Euros?
Euros. I thought you meant the men's Euros. I was like, why?
What you thought I meant last year's?
It was like, can do. I saw that face. It's like,
You thought I meant
I've been
she was
called
thinking,
on
what
for
are you talking
this.
about Euro 2020 for? Like, what's going on?
Men's Euros. Yeah.
Do you want me to open it again? Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that again.
In.
All right, so we have a women's Euros at home in the summer. Jay, we spoke about it. You're super excited. Beth, how are you feeling about it? Are you looking forward to it?
Joe, I've stopped watching women's football. Like, I should watch it more. I know Jay, like, I absolutely love it. Like, Jay's passion towards women's football is insane. And I know I'm looking forward to going to like watch them because I think they're playing at, is it Old Trafford or
opening game?
Yeah, the opener, yeah.
So definitely I will go down and watch it. I did watch United versus Chelsea. Was it United versus Chelsea the other week at Lee Sports Village? So I prefer to watch football now, like in person. When it used to be so different. I used to prefer to watch it on telly, but now I actually prefer it. But it's exciting, and I hope that it drums up more publicity and people that haven't really got into women's football before have access to. I just hope that it's treated similar to the men's. Obviously, it's not going to be as like, but I hope that like the feeling of the men's Euros will then translate into like the spirit of supporting England at the women's.
I feel like the same as you a bit. I think watching women's football live is much better than watching it on TV. I just think like the crowd so much friendlier, like players waiting after the game. We were speaking about it last week, like the players waiting after and taking pictures and signing stuff. I think like that's so mental. Like, and this is going to sound like ridiculous, but I went to a PSG game last week, and the amount of people running on the pitch to like be near Neymar, be near Mbappe, like try to get a shirt. I was thinking, bro, this is mental. And like little kids doing it as well. I'm like, how can you send your little kid on to go get like Messi's shirt? And like, it's like, you're literally risking prison time or like a banning from the games. And it's just like, and all they'd have to do like really is, okay, we'll just stay for 15 minutes after the game and we'll stand on the side and take a few pictures. And that would like, people would be so happy. So I think like that with the women's game, so mental. And I think like in the Euros, a lot of people who aren't maybe like really into it, and it's just like, oh, it's close, it's football, it's down the road, let's go to it, are going to be like, oh, you know what, like I actually love this. And like
women are a lot more, like women's football's a lot more personable, like we're a lot more approachable, we're a lot more we're seen more as humans. We're not put so much on that pedestal, which can be a good and a bad thing, but we're not put on that pedestal where it's like we're unapproachable and we actually want to speak to the fans. We care about football, and I think we're at a time now where that should be something that is really like pushed within women's football, because that can easily get lost if there's more money that comes into the women's game, and we start having women that are, you know, living like men's footballers' lifestyles. You could easily see it like drop down, but that's something that we shouldn't lose in the women's game.
Yeah, like it's very easy. I think once like the big money comes in, it's so easy for that to slip away, especially like not even like in terms of payments, but like interviews and stuff. All of a sudden you've not got 50 minutes after the game because it's being broadcasted to 22 countries around the world. So we need a piece of everyone to come do post-match. I need a Spanish speaking player, I need an English speaking player. And it's just like, once everyone wants a bit of the pie, then it's like, it's fans that get left behind. Like, as horrible as it is, like it is. And I think we saw it more during like COVID. And it's like, okay, for fans, it was like, we can't go to the game. I had friends who were like, bro, like my mental health is in the bin because I can't go watch football. And teams were just carrying on, same as always. Yeah, we'll just carry on going, and they've got to, because at the end of the day, it's a business. And then more so with what was it called? That league, the European Super League, was it Super League?
Yeah, Super League.
With the Super League, and people were like, "Oh, like, I can't believe it," and I was like, "Bro, like, it's a business. They want to make the money. Like, it's so minuscule that what we can do. Like, okay, I buy my ticket. What's the most you probably spend on a ticket? 50 quid, 60 quid? I don't know what, like Arsenal, Spurs. I know they're a bit higher, but and then it's like, okay, but we can show this in Brazil and make millions. You're just like, bro, like, it's never going to equate to it. And I think that's like a massive thing with women's football. Like, whilst it's not got that huge funding in, I think people need to get on it. Like, because then it's like you're sort of part of the come up, and also like I've got a thing. I don't like people pretending, or not pretending, but like tweeting players like they know them. Like that stresses me out.
Like, what do you mean, like tweeting like they know them?
So me after a game, and I'd be like, "Oh, Bruno, unbelievable game today, bro."
Yeah.
I should be calling him Mr. Fernandez because I don't know it. Do you know what I mean? Like something, I don't know what it is. Something irks me. Like, it pains me to see people like using terminology like that.
People think that they are. It's so accessible now to like get in contact with these players and stuff. Like, the people think that they are like best pals with them, just because they follow on social media.
Oh, but honestly, the whole social media thing, the fact that people think that you tweet a player and the players. No, cheers, bro. Yeah. Oh, you see that?
I did that for you today.
That's all right.
You know, the accounts that like you see of message, like people like say it's like Ronaldo's like, can I have 50 quid for some tweets, please? Like, people think,
and the grammar's awful.
Yeah, it's Beyonce. Can I get money for recording?
But even like, I remember people like saying to me, like saying on Twitter, I've been like, "Oh, bro, like this player don't run his own social media," and someone's going, "I know for a fact this person, and this person all run their own social media," and I'm like, "Bro, trust me, I know, and I know the person that runs all their accounts. It's the same person."
I've seen. Well, there was that thing the other day, wasn't there, with Fernandez and like
Martinelli.
That got uploaded.
You hate to see it. You absolutely hate to see
James Maddison's got TikTok now, and you can just tell like he's fully being like forced, like, because it's for the brand. Bless him, like he's fighting for his life in the group chat, but he's getting that coin from. But people think like, oh yeah, like he's down with the kids, like he does TikTok. But it's right. We're moving away from the subject now, aren't we? We're Women's Euros, and now we're on.
That's fine. We can go into.
I think England will win, though. I definitely think. I think England will win the Euros because I feel we can't be shy. When Fran Kirby does a madness every single week in, week out, everyone says she's world class. If you have a world class player, why are you scared going into a Euros?
Beth, what's next for you, football wise?
That's a big question.
That is a big question.
Are
you just like trying to, like you're saying, are you just trying to get back to enjoying your football again now, or?
Yeah, I'm trying to get back into loving the game again. I'm trying to make a career for myself, like to the level that I got at. I was deep in it and thinking that, you know, even if I did go into championship level, like I would not be on the wage that I wanted. I would still have to be working another job, but then having to travel down to like London on the weekends and is that really an environment or is that really something that I could work towards when I could make a better living for myself doing other things? And that's been quite like a hard thing to take for myself, because I love football so much and the things have just got too political for me. And it's taken away from the game that I actually love and being able to play the way that I want. If I'm not in an environment that I don't feel is conducive for me to grow and get better, then instead of hanging on, I'm just going to go now, I think, for me, because that's what I did at my old club. I held on for too long and it hurt me way more than I knew it was at the time, until I took a step back, and now I'm like in this place where it's just like football has just become a chore for me, and it's like, that's mad because it's not even a job. You know, when you get like Premiership players that are like, oh, like it's just become like really mundane and it's like a job now. Like, that's my fun, that's like my pride and joy, and then for that to just go away is absolutely insane to me, and I still can't wrap my head around it. I still don't understand. So I'd love to be playing, and I'd love to be like working up higher, but I've now got like a full-time job. I'm not a uni student anymore. Like, I have priorities that I need to put in place, and like teaching is like, really, that's what I do now. Teaching takes a lot out of you, and you want to be able to just go release some steam at football, but it is hard when you're just like, is it even worth it? Like, what am I working towards now? Like, I could just go to the gym. It's such a bad headspace to be in, because I've never ever thought like this before. Like, I don't understand it, but I want to carry on working hard. But then it's like, what am I working for? Because like I just said about a championship before, like, what am I doing this for? Before
you got into a team, what would you tell yourself now from what you've learned?
It sounds really like it's not me, it's you kind of thing, but I did all that I could. But certain characters that you meet, like, the reason why I've fell off from football is because of like coaches and stuff that I've encountered that we've just not clicked. And it's like, what advice can you give to that? Or what, make sure you get on with people. But then that goes against my value of being like honest and true to myself. Like, if I don't like the way someone's acting, or how they conduct themselves as a coach, I am going to say, like, but then I think that's what's ruined my chance. And it's annoying, the fact that someone has impacted me in that way, that I should be excelling, not going backwards. And the fact that a coach has done that, for me, is like, oh, it's mad. But
I think that's one of the challenges of football, it being a team sport, and like such a big team sport. It is the environment. If the environment's not right for you, you'd be the best player in the world. Like, how many times have you seen like huge players move to new teams and just flop? Not bad players. It's the environment. The environment's not right for them. So like, not only having to like deal with that when it's like coming up against blockers, coaches, etc., and then obviously taking on working full time as well. Like, it is going to be difficult. I guess, like, for me, what I want to know is, like, when you were younger and you're playing football, I guess you got to try and get back there to the point, like, what was you playing for when you was a little kid, sort of thing? Like, when you knew, like, at 10 years old, you know you're not going to go pro in a game's time, but you still play. Like, it's not okay, because you can still have this long-term plan, and it's like, oh, but I'm still playing because I'm with my friends, or I'm having fun. And I remember doing it as a kid, like moving from like a good team to like a worse team. That's not a word, but and it's just like, just to try to bring the fun back. Like you said, it was at school for me. Like, after a long day, I just want to go play football. I don't want to have the politics. I don't want to be thinking too much. I just want to go play the game I love.
I didn't feel like I could be myself there. I feel like in football now, like, when I'm not feeling myself, like, that really gets to me, because like I said, like, that is one of my values, being honest, and when I'm not myself, I can't play as well. Like, it makes sense. I can't play as well as I should. If I don't feel supported, which I didn't, I can't play as good. And now I'm in, like what you said, a worser team.
We're going to cut that. That's gone. That's not staying in there. Trust me, that's gone.
Just to try and get back into liking football again, but it's going to take a little bit more than that. But younger me was working towards getting to a high level, and I was at a semi-high level, and I've got a taste, and I've spoke to people that are obviously at a higher level, and it just doesn't seem appealing. Like, it just doesn't seem like it's not as glamorous as what people make out. It's cliquey, but that's just my experience, and I don't want it to be my experience. I want this to just be a bad period of football, and I want to be at an interview with someone after a match and they're like, or whatever, like, have you ever experienced a bad time in football? You know, when you hear of the greatest people that have like out of a club and then become one of the greatest footballers. That's what I want my story to be like, but it's just like, I need those opportunities.
There's no success without adversity sort of thing.
But I need those opportunities to come along for me to progress and for me to get my foot in the door. And unfortunately, I thought that that's what I had with Filed. And unfortunately, it wasn't. It was something that actually impacted me worse. And it's like really hard to come to terms with. But this is what I'm also saying as well in terms of goalkeeper, like James, we've spoke about this before, like goalkeeper coaching in the women's game is just not up to par. And then you wonder why girls are getting slagged off on BBC or, you know, when they post a highlight. It's like, you can't be surprised that women's goalkeeping is not up to par when the goalkeeping coaches that we have, I think I've only ever had one good goalkeeping coach. And that was when I was at Wolves. And he fully understood and I was learning so much. But since then, like, I've not come across a goalkeeping coach that I've had at a team that has really helped with my development. And this is like this is like my prime years that I'm missing this development out, but I can't magic one out of anywhere. And the company that I work for, the goalkeeping company, I can get coaching from there, but that's like, I'm not getting that at a team. Within women's football really needs to get looked at, because it's just.
Where do you think the problem starts from? Because I'd say England is very, like, if you look at the top level, you could say that there is a lot of good goalkeepers. Like, so where do you think like, is it a grassroots thing, or like, is it just a case of if you're in an academy, then you will get the best, and like, if you're not in academy, you're just kind of fed to the wolves kind of thing?
I definitely do think grassroots, yes, because it's definitely me growing up, it was hard enough to get a decent outfield coach. I don't know what it's like for the younger generation now, but from what I see, it's not improved that much. But especially when I was growing up, it was I was lucky to have a great outfield coach, but it is very much goalkeepers are still put to the side, just put in goal at training sessions, balls knocked at them, because these coaches aren't qualified, and goalkeeping is such a specialist position that you'll probably find that these coaches that have got qualifications are in academies and things like that. They're not going to be working grassroots as such. Like, I work for a private company of goalkeeping. I am not within the grassroots leagues, and some of the female goalkeepers that I have, they say that's why they come to us, because they are not receiving, the ones that actually care about development, they're not receiving the adequate coaching. Yeah, it's a bit of a shit one.
Let's take it back to, like, let's bring the mood up. What's been?
Why am I so depressing?
No, you're not. You're not. You're just
this
being
is
honest.
The truth.
You're just being honest.
This is the most important thing about women's football, just the truth and like the stories that so many different players have, and it's kind of like they never really get to say their stories. So I think it's really good when you can actually hear someone's story. And the thing is, it's not been like days and stuff, but like there's a lot of things that you've learned and like you're still here. And I think this is important for people out there that might be going through the exact same thing you're going through. So like, to hear someone actually speak about it is like It's going to help them massively.
Especially with football, it's just you see the tip of the iceberg. You see the professionals, and that's it, really. Like, and it's like you look around and it's like, okay, what about all the people who don't make it or aren't in academies and don't make it through, and you get the odd like feel good story, and it's this person came out through non-league, but there's a lot of people, but it's just not widely available. Like Jay said, like you're not being depressing, like you're being very honest. And for someone else who might be going through exactly the same thing as you, might think, oh, I'm the only person, like I can't believe this is happening to me. But it's like, oh no, this has happened. Like, and like you said, it's not you. Like, you've been in these clubs and it's like not working. It's not you. You're a good player, isn't it? So it's like, okay, it's just not the right environment for me. And I think, especially in like higher level sports, I can't talk. And they go like and you always make it feel like when you leave somewhere and people don't go, oh, like what happened? They just think, oh, it was you weren't good enough. And you're like, no, it's actually wasn't that at all. It might have been, oh, I couldn't afford the petrol to drive down there every week, or my mum works weekends, so we can't go to the academy. And people never ask that. They just see that you didn't get in, or you're not doing it now, and they just assume failure. And it's a hard subject for a lot of people to talk about. So
that's what I feel like at the minute. I do feel like a failure, and it is frustrating because it's not so much of my performance. It was the fact that these opportunities were not given to me and I didn't feel like I was like, I would tell this coach that my football was hurting my mental health, and I didn't even get a message to be like, like, yo, like this is serious, like can we speak about it? And the fact that I've just been plodding along, and because I love football so much, I was trying to like force myself to stay and just be like, it will get better, it will get better, it will get better. Like that's like been me throughout my life. Like, carry on doing it, carry on pushing through, and it will get better. And unfortunately, it just hasn't got better at the minute. And I'm just hoping that this is just, like I said before, like this is just one of those periods where I'm just going through it a little bit, and I'm just hope that it'll just make me more resilient as a player. And I just want those opportunities to come along. I want that opportunity to, which I thought ultimate goal would be, like an opportunity to just like show my talent and show like who I am. But it's like, why am I not? Why are people like, why? I don't understand. I don't get it. And when you do reach out to people and ask them what went wrong, you don't get a response. It's like, what can I do? Like, I feel like just hitting my head against the window.
Talking about ultimate goal, I know we spoke about it earlier. We won't go into as much detail. Talk me through like the process of getting on there, like the application process.
So I had a few people send me the link when they were looking for new people to come onto the series, and a few people sent me the application link. So I was just like, oh, okay, why not? I literally did it within like half an hour. Like they were just questions about like if a movie could be wrote about your life, like what would the characters be, what would the storyline be. So I was just like, blah, 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 like it was quite easy for me because I was just like, well, this is like me. Like it's not it's not like an interview where you've kind of got to pretend to be, well, for me anyway, it wasn't for me to pretend like I'm this great person. It was just like, well, this is who I am, like this is where I'm at. And then I got a phone call from the producer, and he was like, oh, we got your application, we really liked it, just want to ask you a few more questions. I think it was just like a question about like me growing up, and I guess they were probably just seeing like how ready you were for like being interviewed and things like that. Looking back on it, and yeah, so he was like, oh, okay, let me just go speak to other producers and then I'll ring you back. Then he rang me back within like 20 minutes, was like, oh, like we're pleased to say like we want you to come onto the show. I was like, okay, cool. Not really knowing what to expect. And then it was all quite last minute really, in terms of from what I can remember, I mean, this was like back in early this year, but it was all very like last minute in terms of like when we were going, getting tickets for, like getting train tickets, because they had the new location as well. Like we weren't told too much about, like the producer told me on the phone, like, oh, we're not doing it all at St. George's Park this year because we felt like some of the girls last season like took it for granted. So now we want like a house. And then there's me thinking this is going to be like a lush apartment in London. And then I remembered that I'm a female footballer, so the budget's not going to be that big.
So like in terms of, did they, what about like the football side of it? Did they obviously like, did you have to send in like highlights? Did you have to tell them the level you played at? Like when was the first time they saw you play football?
Yeah. So they did, there was like a thing at the end of the application that was like, insert your highlight reel here. Like obviously I think it was just like you can if you want to, but they were like, well, it will help your application obviously. So yeah, I've got a highlight reel on YouTube. I mean, it's not amazing, but so yeah, I put that in. But when we were actually on the show, you would have thought that they cared more about football than they actually did. Like for example, we'd have to warm up like twice sometimes because they didn't get the right footage. And we were just like one.
Yeah, it's a bit like,
it was intense on our bodies anyway. Like we were playing football like day in, day out, and like going inside, having a massive break for like an hour whilst they like pull players for interviews and stuff. Like there was periods of time like where we weren't doing anything. And then we'd like be told like, oh, you've got 20 minutes to get ready and like be out onto the pitch. And the training sessions that we did were really good. Zoe and Bex, they were amazing coaches. Like they're actually coaches, and their like their quality was amazing. And like obviously having Rachel to tap into her mind, but I would have thought it would be a bit more what's the word? I don't want to say like thought out, because it clearly, like in terms of the coaching, especially for the outfielders, it was, but like getting us to warm up twice and like having us waiting around or coming out and then going back in and then being like, oh, okay, like we're not ready for you yet, get changed again.
Yeah, like it's not,
the timing could have been better.
It's not that's not an ideal situation. Like you don't want to be doing that because that's so much strain on your body, and also like that's sort of like the part, and you like we were saying, you probably like stuff like that. It's like, oh, can you warm up against when you get the right shots? That's probably when you were like this is a show. Like like this isn't. I'm not just here for football. Like this is a show.
Yeah, and I just thought it would be a bit more like natural and a bit more like, oh, okay, like we'll, you know, you do this and we'll just like see what we can get from this. But it was like, no, you do this. Or like, for example, on the first day, one of the coaches came over to us to speak to us when we were all stood in a group, and they were like, oh, can you have that conversation again because we didn't get that? So then she had to go away and come back and have the same conversation. And it was just like all these like tiny, like little minute things. It's like, okay, like you didn't get our conversation, but do you really need footage of that?
Yeah.
Just getting us having another conversation. Or they're like, oh, that sounds really good. Can you say that again? It's like, no.
Takes you out the moment as well, because it's like, it's done now.
And I'm like stood there like whilst people are like saying things again, I'm like
deja vu.
Cringing.
I know. So, but like I said before, like the girls were unreal. Like it was so like I've never been so close with a group of girls so quickly. And I think that obviously it did help with us like living together, and the fact that we were all going through this experience ourselves like together, and we could speak about like how crazy it was. and how we were all just there to just play and enjoy football, and we could talk to each other about football. And when we were like playing games, playing matches on training, like when we were training, and it was just love. Like I felt so at home. I felt like I could really speak my mind. I felt that I could like communicate with like my defense, and it was just like, it was beautiful. Like I felt so at ease, and I felt like I was in a place with these girls that I just wouldn't be judged, and that they really did rate me as a footballer. And I felt wanted, I felt needed on the team by the girls, and it was just like absolutely lovely.
So for you, would that be like minus the show, so minus all the cameras and stuff, that team, that group of girls, them coaches, that's the environment you want?
Unreal, yeah, unreal. If we were actually a team, we would be unreal. Like the talent that was there. Like I had Abby, she was one of the defenders, and she was just so good. And I would say to her, like, I need you to do this is how we can get better as a team. And she'd be like, yeah, like fine, like I'll do that. Or I'm like, I need you to stand here on a goal kick because I'm going to play it to you, and then we do it there. And it was just like everyone just like took it on board and was like, yeah, cool, like I'll do that. There was no like, nah, I'm not doing that. Like,
sounds like for me, like hearing outside in, everyone was there for a purpose. Everyone knew their purpose, and everyone was there for one. It's not like at a team where you got some people more serious than others, where there's cliques, and it's like, oh, like one person, you might be training body to temple, and you got someone who turns up like end slept, still drinking. You're like, bro, like come on, like we're all trying to win here. But it sounds like in the environment there, like everyone was there for a purpose, which they were. Like everyone wanted to like show as good as they were, and it's like, okay, we're here to play football, we're here to get better, like we're here to show out. And yeah, it does sound like a wicked environment in terms of like the football inside.
Yeah, it was. I'd love to all like get back together again and just like play football. Like it was such a good. There was no egos. There was no. We were all just there because we love football, and we had that professional. Well, we have that professional mindset. We have that elite. That elite mindset of this is how we want to conduct ourselves, and it was just so nice to be around like-minded people.
That was like a taste of what you wanted.
Yeah,
in sections, in bits.
Yeah, and then
at least you know, like
away from me.
At least you know, like what you want.
Yeah,
and like you've had the environment as much as you've had it and it's gone, and now you're striving to get back to it. Like imagine if you didn't know, and you're like, oh, this environment's not working for me. I need to find, and you're like, I don't really know what. But when you now find it again, I feel like you're gonna, like literally your first day, you're gonna be like, yeah, this is it. I can taste it. Like, I know this is the one.
That's true. Just want to be like the next. If I do go to like a bigger team, the next, like I just want to be. I don't want to be part of all that like gossip or, oh, do you know, like this player, like I used to play with her like back in the day, and you know, like I don't really like her, and it's like I just want
to play football.
Yeah, like I just want, like, why can't we all just be like, we're here to play, like, and be the best and like push each other? Like, why does there need to be like gossipy about other players or I don't know, man. Like, I don't like speaking like this because this is like, for me, it just seems so negative. Like, there's so many aspects about football that are just like amazing and beautiful, but then there's just the other side to football, and which is like how I'm viewing it at the minute. It's just like this dark cloud over football. Like, I just don't see it with rose tinted glasses anymore, and it's just
I always think though, like as much as you do feel like sometimes I talk, I'm like, oh, bro, I'm so negative all the time. You need to, like, for your own sanity, for your own mental health. You can't just bottle it up. Like, you can't. Like, it's just no way. Like, you'll just get to like breaking point. You're like, bro, like, this
you'll hit the wall.
You'll hit the
now.
wall. Yeah. So it's like,
as well. Like, I feel like I just don't want to speak too much about how I'm feeling because one, like people are just don't care, or like they just haven't got time. Like, people have got their own shit going on. So it's like, why am I going to speak about, I don't know. And like, when I do reach out to, you know, when I was talking about when I was at the club and I was like, you know, this is how I'm feeling. Only the assistant manager actually, she messaged me one day and she was like, are you okay? Like, you don't look yourself. And she opened up a can of worms, but just for saying like, are you okay? Like,
that's sometimes all you need, isn't it? Just
she supported me, but unfortunately, like, there was still elements within that environment that was out of her control, and she couldn't support me. Like, she could only do.
She couldn't offer you the support that you needed, essentially.
And when I'm reaching out to other people and like this is how I'm feeling, and it just not being taken serious enough, and teams will say that they're there for you, they're here to support you, like, we're all one together. And then I'm telling you, no, I don't feel like this. I don't feel part of it. I don't feel like I'm included. I don't feel like I can be myself. And then it's like, we're all one. We're all a team. We all get on.
They read from the script.
Yeah, it's very, very commercial. Like, look at us. This is the headline. This is what we've got to say, sort of thing. And you're like, no, but like,
it's like McDonald's, isn't it?
You just scratch. Yeah, you just scratch.
Like people working for McDonald's.
It's not all like that.
I've heard horror stories, but like they always got those bright banners saying "Work for us, be a team," and they're like, well, I haven't heard you treat them like teams.
I used to work at McDonald's, and I'll tell you now, it's the hardest job I've ever had in my whole life.
Yeah,
I've never worked so hard in my whole entire life.
My mum used to work at Mackey's. She used to be a cleaner, and all my days, like, that woman would put a shift in for nothing. Like,
yeah, man, like,
work at Mackey's, work hard.
Yep.
I just come back and like I used to do chips, and I used to burn all my hands.
Oh my God.
And like, obviously, no, like, oil, it blisters them, innit? Like, bro, like, honestly, it was the worst thing. It was like £4.30 an hour. I was like, I don't know why I do this. Yeah, back in the day, what was I on? £4.35 an hour. I used to do like a Saturday and like a Sunday, and then a week midweek. But like 6-hour shifts, £4. What's 4 times 6? I'm not gonna do that. I thought worse.
24 now.
Yeah, but like, do you know what I mean? I used to get like £70, and I used to get paid like I'd work 4 days a week, and get like £70.
Oh.
And that was just like, it was when I was on the sixth form, so I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah, like, you feel like you do the most for like these jobs because they're like, like the first ever jobs you have, and then you look back, it's like, why?
Yeah.
Why were we doing so much?
It was hard, man. Like the hardest job I've ever had. You know what's everyone's worst job that you've ever had?
Matalan. I worked at Matalan.
What's that? The carpets?
No, Matalan's like the clothes, I swear. Matalan.
Is it?
Yeah, got some.
I thought they did like carpets and sofas and stuff.
Carpet, right.
I don't even know why. It's like Shoe Zone.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's still open. There's some
money laundering.
Yeah. Like
W.H. Smiths.
It's weird. There's some conspiracies going on, but they didn't have commercial rights to like the radio or whatever to play in store. So they used to have the same track over and over, but it's not any artists, or it's just like, I don't know, you guys are YouTube people, aren't you? So
general commercial music sort of thing.
Like free stuff that you can use, like oh my God. And that used to be on all the time, and then like you were treated like this is like the best place on earth. This is you work hard, you are, you know, I think I must have been on like something ridiculous an hour, and people have to bring in their Matalan cards, and if they don't bring, so at the till, if they don't have their Matalan card with them, this card does nothing. They don't even get discounts. They don't even get like, this card is just a card. Have to have it. And if they don't, it was called like a bypass. And if you had like, say like 5 bypasses in a shift, you'd get brought into the office and given like a formal warning.
But you'd get bypass. You'd get it.
So we'd get. So if we served someone and they didn't have a Matalan card, that would be classed as a bypass or something. And then it's like, if you clocked up so many in a shift, you would get like taken to the office and being like,
bro, I'd be like, I'm not going on tills. I'm like, I'm on my fourth bypass today. I can't go on tills.
There used to be these customers that you'd come along and you'd be like, oh, like you take so long with the customer before so that they'd go
dip off.
But it was, but like I was just, and you're working with like 40-year-old women that are still.
That's their life.
Yeah.
And you're just like this little child, like folding clothes, and you're just like letting people speak to you like shit. It's like,
nah, it's so nuts, isn't it? Like I look back now at my old jobs and think like,
I had one.
Bro, what was I doing?
She, I think I must be like 16, you know, and this was Christmas time, so like a bit busy in retail. And she come to the till. She brought all these like delicate ornaments for Christmas, and I was like wrapping them up, but I couldn't really do it properly. And then I said to her like, "Oh, do you need a bag?" And we have to ask, "Do you want a bag?" Because you have to pay for the bag. All my life, I've been coming to Matalan for 5 years, and I've never been asked whether I need a bag before. And I'm just like, what, mate?
What? And she was annoyed about that.
Yeah, and like I was then having to wrap her special Christmas ornaments, and she was just being like particular about it, and she ended up like she was with her husband, and she just like she was really like passive aggressive, and she ended up just like walking off, and it was just really awkward because I was just like, what have I done?
Your ornaments. Don't forget your bag.
Just like, oh yeah. So and you shop at Matalan, you are a weirdo.
No offense to anyone that shops at Matalan.
You just told us.
Keep shining, kings and queens.
Oh man. Right, I'm gonna end it there before you say something more mental. Right, Beth, thank you so much for coming on. I hope you enjoyed your time with us. And best of luck for the future.
I can't believe we're ending it so soon.
There'll be part 2 and a part 3.